Hello and welcome to another Tillman's Tech Talk video. This is the second video in my new series, Intro to Linux Command Line. And in the last video we went over a couple of commands. We went over print working directory, change directory, list directory, clear, absolute path, and relative path. Going back to the ls command, which lists the files and directories inside my current directory, I'm going to show you ls with an option attached. Now you can attach an option with the dash, and the option has to be attached immediately following the command. And the option I'm going to use is -L. And what -L is going to do is it's going to give me a long listing of the directory that I'm in. So as you can see, it looks completely different even though I'm still using the command ls. It just modified the output and it gave me all this information here to the left, which is all very important information that you'll need to know later on down the road when administrating your Linux system. You'll notice on the very left that all three of my directories, which are color-coded blue, also have the directory tag associated with them, which is this D over here. And all my files have nothing there. Essentially, it means it's not a directory. Some Linux operating systems will not have this pretty bash shell that I'm in with the nice colors, because I can visually see what's a directory and what is a file. So that's useful to know. And everything else in here is also very important, and a lot of it needs to be, I need to go over it in detail. However, just a brief explanation. These are file permissions. This is the file or directory owner. And sorry, these are directory permissions. This is the group. And once again, next couple of videos I'll go over users and groups. This is the date that it was created and the time. So, useful information. But now that you kind of know how to move around and see files, etc., let's start manipulating some files. So I want to move the file myfile1 right here into my directory mydir1. So to do that, I use the command mv, which stands for move. You know, it's a pretty easy naming convention most of the time. So I'm going to move my file. So I got to specify what I want to move. And where do I want to move it? I want to move it to my directory 1. And bam, it took my input. I do an ls. My file 1 is now no longer in this current directory that it was in, home student. It's now moved into mydir1. So if I cd into mydir1, for the sake of the video, I could also ls mydir1 quicker, but I'm keeping it simple. Do an ls, you'll now see that my file 1 has been moved into my directory 1. And if I wanted to move it back, I could move my file 1, and I could use the absolute path home student, or I can use the relative path. Well, how does that work, right? Because I'm in a path below home student. I'm in a directory below home student. How do I use a relative path? Well, if you use a ... just like in the cd command, ... goes up directory, / specifying up one directory, hit enter, do an ls. It's no longer in home student mydir1 because I moved it up one directory. So now if I cd up one directory, which is home student, do an ls, you'll see that my file 1 is back in home student. I just moved it back up one directory. And with the move command, you can move a file anywhere that you have permissions on the directory. So I could move it into etc, I can move it into var, I can move it into lib, I could move it into someone else's home directory, assuming I had permissions, etc. So what if I wanted to remove my file 1? I could simply do an rm my file 1, and that's gonna just remove it. So my file 1's now deleted, poof, gone. It'll be really hard to get back. You probably can't get it back unless you have a really good backup system. So make sure before you RM that you know what you're removing, okay? And there are some safeguards around RM as far as directories go. You have to use an option, which I will show you. So, for example, I'm just going to show you. If you want to RM a directory, like let's remove mydir3, it's going to complain. It's going to say, hey, that's a directory. That's not my default behavior to remove directories. Well, off the top of my head, I know rm-r is going to remove, allow me to remove a directory. So I'm using that option-r, and I'm going to remove mydir3. And bam, mydir3 is gone. R also stands for recursive, so everything inside of my directory 3 is now gone as well. Once again, be very careful. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it on a Linux system. It's not very forgiving at all. So now that those are both gone, what if I wanted to copy my file 3 into my directory 2? Well, there's a command cp, which is copy. So I could copy, what do I want to copy? I want to copy my file 3. And where do I want to copy it? Well, I want to copy it to my dir2. I still have my file 3 inside of home student, but it also lives inside of my dir2. So I'm going to ls my dir2. And what's inside of my dir2? So I can ls a directory, right? Like in the past, I've just shown you ls, which lists the current directory, but you can ls any directory. So I'm lsing my dir2. And my file 3 has been moved, or copied, sorry, into my dir2, and I now have 2 copies. So I'm going to remove the copy inside of my dir2. So I'm going to remove my file 3, but to do that, since I'm currently, pwd, right? I'm currently in home student, I want to remove the one inside of my directory 2. So if I did an rm my file 3, right, it's going to delete the one inside of home student and not the one inside of home student my dir2, which is the one I want to delete. So once again, be very careful, know what you're doing. I'm going to specify the directory to that file that I want to delete, which is my dir2, right? So my dir2, my file 3, get rid of it, do another ls on my dir2, it's gone. Just like that, you've removed files, you can copy files. It's pretty simple, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on this part of the video. And once again, subscribe, like my channel, share my channel, visit my website. Always feel free to message me with questions, suggestions. If you'd like to see me a specific Linux command and how to use it, I can make a video on it. Just let me know. I'm very flexible. So thanks for watching my video and stay tuned for the next videos.